Hello, sunshine. Welcome to Be Visible with Veronica, the podcast where bold conversations and soul-aligned strategy help you awaken your most powerful self. I'm your host, Veronica Bond. Get ready to stop dimming your light, own your magic, and finally be so visible you can't be ignored. Let's get visible. Hello, sunshine. Welcome back to the Be Visible with Veronica podcast. I'm Veronica Bond, your host. Last week, we had an incredible conversation with the publisher of Green Living magazine, Dori Morales. She's also the premier sponsor of this podcast. And because of her, we are able to create this beautiful environment here with our incredible guests. So now a word from them. A heartfelt thank you to our premier sponsor, Green Living magazine, Arizona's leading conscious lifestyle publication. Each issue is packed with new ideas on how to use nature's resources for sustainable living tips, inspiring stories, and statewide eco events. Subscribe today and get 12 print issues and digital access at greenlivingmag.com/store. Welcome back to Be Visible with Veronica. I am exceedingly grateful to be welcoming Colleen Biggs. Nobody in the Valley knows her, you guys. Just saying. If you're from Arizona, she is an oddball in the mix. This might be a name you've never heard. And as we all know, I'm teasing. I cannot express the gratitude I have for you being on Be Visible with Veronica. Colleen, welcome to the show.
Well, you are the kindest person I know. Of course I'm going to be here on your podcast. I'm honored that you would ask me to be a guest. So thank you.
We have been connected for 5-ish years. Many people have told us, you have to meet Colleen. And when we finally had lunch this back in February, you had told me, people have been telling me I needed to know Veronica. And when we finally got on social, I think I saw that your Empower and Elevate conference was coming in March.
Yeah.
And I wanted to attend. I blocked it out when I saw back in November on that date. And I had opened up my calendar and thought, oh my gosh, that Friday is already committed. But it was committed because of your event. And we instantly decided to go to lunch, which both of us to have 24 hours later to be able to connect for a lunch. That was amazing.
Yeah, you know, I just believe in a season and a reason. So we might have gotten connected on LinkedIn 5 years ago, but the timing just maybe wasn't right for us to connect when we connected back then. And then when you told me that you're the director of eWomen in Arizona, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought that was Karen Miller-Wise, and I had been in eWomen way back in the day, and we had never crossed paths. So that just goes to show that there's this divine intervention that happened at the time when it was supposed to happen for us to be in each other's lives. And I just trust in that in every relationship.
I tell you, following those breadcrumbs, really powerful things in front of you. I have been saying that a lot, especially recently. God keeps putting these breadcrumbs in front of me, and I don't know that I had noticed them in the way that I needed to. I might not have been ready. But the journey has led me here, which then led us to this lunch. And we only had about an hour and a half, and we could have sat there the whole day.
Oh, yeah, easily, for sure. I think when there's a spark or connection with someone, it's almost like dating too. You know, like when you're like, wow, this person's so easy to talk to. This relationship seems oddly easy. I get very attracted to people like that. And I can usually feel out someone's energy right away. Not always over social media. Sometimes if you watch someone long enough, you can kind of feel it out. But for you and I hadn't done like a lot of research on you. I just wanted to come sit and talk to you and see what you were about and who you were, and we just connected immediately.
Well, other than knowing you ran the Empower and Elevate events, I didn't know that much about you either. Yeah. In fact, I had thought you went to my same high school. I knew we'd been in the Valley together for a while, and I thought it was somebody from my past, or you were younger than me. And I mean, there was all of these stories I was making up in my head about who you were and these great things you were doing in the Valley to elevate women and their voices and really impact community. And when I created this podcast and I knew it was going to be for empowered entrepreneurs to tell a story, to have a global difference. I wanted startups. I wanted seasoned, who've been in as an entrepreneur 20 years, who've affected hundreds of thousands of businesses and lives, who've reached that high 7-figure multi-entrepreneur, 8-figure spot in success. And all of those conversations were going to be on purpose. They were going to have high impact because women sharing those voices and those stories and creating community are what will make a change on this planet, I believe, and create a legacy down the road, far beyond when we take our last breath. And I knew that about you, but I didn't know how and why. So every time, even today, the pre-conversation before the podcast, learning some amazing stories about how you connect and what your impact is and what your purpose is to your family and the 2 beautiful family businesses that you're now growing even more and putting energy into, selling your podcast, selling your network marketing company, turning the reins over to elevate and empower. I mean, these are all things you've birthed. And like you said, a reason and a season. Why don't we start with what was the very first venture you had on your own after you left corporate?
When I decided to leap out of corporate, which is exactly what it was, I tell everyone there is no right time. You know how someone says, like, I'm going to wait until it's the right time to go on that trip. I'm going to wait until my kids are grown before I do X, Y, Z. I'm going to wait until we're out of college and our careers are set before we have kids. Like, everyone that says it, I'm like, there's no perfect time. You just have to leap into what it is that you want to do. And it was a reason and a season that I needed to leave corporate America. I could feel it. The timing was right. I had a great, wonderful career, learned so many things that assisted me in opening my own consulting agency, but I really wanted to create community, and I did not want to create community with women when I came out of corporate America. And that surprises a lot of people because I am one of the biggest advocates for women.
Yes, you
like
are.
Today.
You are.
And I was not 10 years ago. I will tell you that.
What flipped the switch for you?
Yeah.
Then?
I was very tarnished coming out of corporate America with women in corporate. Just the way that they treated me, the way they acted. I felt like I was constantly getting stabbed in the back, or someone would knock you off a rung on the ladder. It just felt very not safe unless you could be friends with them outside of corporate, and then you might find one in the mix that was real. But you were very guarded. So I thought all women were like that. Well, when I started playing more in my communities, my faith, in those communities, I was realizing like, hey, women aren't really like this. They're only like this in business. So when I was working with my clients, a lot of them were female clients. They were really kind and I got along really well with them. And I just kept feeling this pull to start something for women. I needed support. And my business owners that I worked with over 20 years all built community around themselves to be able to share ideas, support one another in business. And I thought, I'm going to be on this island out here all by myself in this silo building a business. I don't have a board of directors. I don't have a full staff. Like, I'm just starting. What am I supposed to do? So I started building the community, and it was really a God thing. It was like, build it with women. And I kind of was against that to start, but I was like, what can it hurt? If I could find women like the women that were around me in my community and in my faith, maybe these would be I could help change kind of the way women treat women in business. Maybe I could be the change, was what I thought.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah. And that's what I did. I treated everybody with kindness. Everyone.
And with a great, big, beautiful smile.
Yeah.
You're the epitome of my hello sunshine when I see you. Like, wow.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
You were even wearing yellow, and I was wearing yellow when we first met.
I remember texting you like, hey, I'm wearing yellow when I walk in, so you know what because we had never met face to face. You're like, I'm wearing yellow. What are the odds that we're both wearing yellow today? Which I thought was really cute. Women are incredible beings. We're so powerful and strong. We don't ever give up. We're the CEOs of our families. We have 8 plates spinning at least, all at one time. We just never give up. And that was what I realized about other women in my journey of interviewing them, in providing spaces for master classes and building these big conferences for them to spotlight them, to connect them to other women. I've always believed that your network is your net worth. And when we say that, I'm talking your entire network.
Right.
Every best friend around you, the people you hang out with, the people you allow to give you advice, the people that help you open doors for you, give you opportunities, they're all part of that kind of net worth, right? They build the net worth of everything, not just money, but all your net worth around you. They might be a friend that you move into a community and buy a house because you love their lifestyle, and that's part of your net worth. So I always caution and tell everyone to be very careful about the people you spend time with, the people you get advice from, the people that you really allow closest to you, because that really makes up who you are. And I am all about helping others, spotlighting others, moving them up the rung. What can I do to give you an opportunity or introduce you to someone that can give you? Because I can't, give everyone opportunities for everything in life, but who could I introduce you to that might be able to give you an opportunity that you're searching for?
One of my favorite things to ask people is, how can I support you? And they look at me with this stunned look, and like, oh, okay,
You want to help me?
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
But the thing that was really interesting for me during our lunch was when you said to me, how can I support you? What do you need? What does your business look like moving forward? Because I was feeling like things were transitioning for me, because we met in February. That was after I'd come out of this women's retreat on February 1st, after having a very hard year, that many people who've now been listening to the podcast know what that was like. But it was a way for me to amplify what I was already doing, which was facilitating and connecting. It's my favorite thing to do, especially as executive managing director with eWomen Network, and within my marketing company with all of my clients. I'm always connecting them. You need to know this person. Here's somebody you should know. But the thing that I realized, I hadn't been asked that in a while, and I wasn't totally clear on how to answer that question. It gave me food for thought, because I hadn't planned on the podcast yet either at that point. This all happened within a week of me deciding, and then boom, we're in. We were recording the very next week. But what I loved about what you shared when you asked me, who do you need to meet? How can I introduce you? Women, and this is what I found, and I think it's true for you, women entrepreneurs have a hard time standing up and saying what they need.
Oh, for sure.
And the minute they do, though, it's incredible, in the right community, in the right place, with the right people who do want to lift and support and elevate and empower. They come to the party and, okay, here's who you need to know. Here's who I can introduce you to. Let's support you in getting that goal, that reach, that client, that. And then the next question is, what would 10x that look like for you? So now not only are we getting them to say what they want and how we can support them, but what does that 10x, 20x version of them look like? And you're that person, Colleen, for me. I'm so honored that you're here today, because you amplify this. Not only do you have this beautiful family, this marriage of 20 years, 12 kids.
Okay, slow down.
Wait, 12 grandkids, 13 grandkids. Yeah, 13 grandkids. I got it right.
Now she's like, people are like, you have how many kids? No, my husband and I
kids at home are going,
7.
wait, there's more?
And 13 grandkids, you're right. And we've built an amazing life together. I look at my life, and if it's one message I can give to everyone today, and I think it's what you and I are talking about. There's this piece that we need to remember in our lives, which is called gratitude. And we always want more, don't we? there's always more to get. There's always more to learn. There's always more that we can be. There's always more people we can meet. There's always more money we can make. But to sit in gratitude for what you've already accomplished, to sit in gratitude for the people you have in your life or the type of business you've created, that's rare for a lot of people because they're just constantly on the climb. They're, driven, and I am very driven by goals and by achievement. And when those goals and achievement aren't sitting in front of me, I might feel lost in my way. But I will tell you that you have to remember that every step you take along the way, every person you meet along the way, you are affecting big time. And I don't think we'll ever realize that until the day we die and our life is in review. But we will, at some point, feel how our kindness mattered, how maybe a complication with a friend or a relationship mattered to them and how that might have hurt them. So when I think about that, life is way too short for us to have little bickering or allow people to pull the positivity out of our lives or suck, with their negative attitudes. I just kind of shield myself from that and keep the people close that really fuel me. Not necessarily when people say, I only keep people around me that fuel my success. If they're not giving me opportunity, if they're not helping me get clients, they're not part of my life. My ROI looks very different than a lot of people's ROI. I have to be filled in my soul. Like my heart has to be full. Same. I have to be joyful and happy. And I have to feel like that time I spent with that person mattered and it wasn't a waste. Like, wow. Have you ever watched a movie and said, that was 2 hours of my life I can't get back?
Yes, I have.
I feel that way around some people. And then I just realized that's probably not my person. It's why I wrote the book about stepping into the spotlight, because women shy away from the spotlight. And your spotlight is really anything in your life that you're willing to step up and become. But when we act just as we are, when we expand our influence, and my influence expands by my kindness, my generosity, maybe a kind word I say to someone or a smile I give someone in a grocery store where they're like, wow, people don't usually smile at other people anymore. They kind of ignore them, especially when we had masks on and we couldn't even see people's mouths anymore.
And wondered how our babies coming into this world would ever have a human connection because how long are we going to have to wear these masks?
Yeah.
You can't see. Now you have to
I
look
used
at
to
somebody's
smile
eyes.
with my eyes.
Yes,
I learned how to smile with my
exactly,
eyes back then. So I feel that because of that, we wind up attracting good things to us, right? That whole manifestation that people talk about, when you are a good person, when you are kind to others, you just attract people. So when women are like, I don't know how you do this. How do you get 200 women in a room that are all sweet and kind and want to give another woman an opportunity and are there to serve just as you're there to serve? I'm like, I just attract them. Like, I don't attract mean girls. They don't want to hang out in my energy. They don't want to hang out in the places that I curate ever, because that's just not who they are. Right. They don't feel safe there. They don't like it. They feel out of sorts. And so they just don't hang out very long in my space, if that makes sense.
I love that.
So I feel like that's the realest thing we can do in life. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't this overnight. Like, it's taken a lot of therapy. It's taken a lot of feeling like I didn't screw my kids up, Becoming an empty nester was very hard for me. Like, if I'm not a mom, then what am I? Just being a business owner wasn't good enough for me. Having a career wasn't good enough for me. I needed both of those things. So then you realize, your kids need you differently as adults. And now you get to be an adult mom and help them on an adult level, which is a lot of fun compared to the teenage years.
It is a lot of fun.
So I think we become variations of ourselves as we grow older and start hitting kind of like that back part of our life. And if I could give any wisdom to a younger female starting a business, it would really be to latch on to wise females that are kind, that want to take you under your wing and like teach you and help you. I had some males in my life that I avoided males for a long period of my life. That was daddy issues that I had for a long time. But they were the ones that taught me how to be a CEO. They taught me how to be a good leader. And a lot of that is the kindness and the people skills and the listening and understanding people.
Seeking first to better understand,
Yeah.
instead of jumping to a conclusion, which is so easy to do these days, especially with our cell phones when a text comes through.
Yeah.
And you can't hear voice inflection and you can't hear the meaning behind it. And
Yeah.
did they really mean to spell the word that way? Or did they mean to capitalize
Yeah.
all those words in
Yep.
a row? Are they yelling at
That
me?
was
Or
my
was that
daughter.
an accident?
Stop yelling at me. I'm like, I'm not yelling at you. She was like, you're yelling at me over text. That's what I used to get from my kids all the time when they were younger. I was like, I'm not yelling at you.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
I've had that happen in business too. So one of the pieces of advice that I give others and that I use for myself is seek first to better understand.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, have a call, find out what's going on in that person's world. We are very good at wearing masks, even though I think we try very hard to not wear fake masks. I think that there are things going on where, especially when we've had longevity and we're seasoned in business, we, like you said, we have these gates around us. We put up barriers and walls on purpose because we're very, opinions are like elbows. Everybody has two. One of my mentors has said often. I think that's hysterical. And seeking advice. I love what you said about, but seek from the people that are further along where you are.
Oh, always.
Not where you're
Yeah.
at, or not who have never experienced a business or a path that you're on. Seek others. And sometimes you have to first get that from books. I think now you
do
can
a lot of
find,
reading.
for me, in the beginning for me with business, it was just very male dominated in sales. In my first business I was in corporate, like you said. And when I decided to become an entrepreneur, I was looking around for advice from other women entrepreneurs. The Brene Browns weren't out there yet. The Rachel Hollises weren't the big deals yet. Mel Robbins wasn't out there yet. Like there wasn't these.
There was Oprah.
There was.
That was it. Sally, Jesse, Raphael, and Oprah.
And Martha Stewart possibly,
Yeah.
but I didn't really relate to her.
No, she was mainly in the food industry back then, way back in the day.
So I remember them saying, just do it like I'm doing it. And I remember the day I stood in my power and I said, actually, no, I'm going to do it the way Veronica will do it, not the way you've done it. Because I used to hear, make your first million the way I'm teaching you, and then you can figure out how to go make it. It's easier, and you wait. Once you get there in that 7 figures, you will, your job has just started. You wait. And so all of these voices around you can pull you down, tear you down, put the scarcity mindset, but boy, being in gratitude, waking up every morning with thank you for the roof over my head. In my case, thank you for the love of my life laying next to me, that we have this time together and we can be in the same room together, because we know couples that aren't in the same rooms together. And I love having that time with my husband in the morning, and I'm so grateful. Thank you for the grandbabies. Thank you for the life we have, the view we have, the air I'm breathing, the air conditioning, praise the Lord, when it's 120 in Arizona. But that, it shifts your energy for the entire day, and that's where the attraction comes in.
Yeah.
It's not sitting in meditation. My husband will lean into me all the time and go, breathe, because we laugh about it, because it's like this thing. I'm just taking in the view and the gratitude. You see all these social media influencers standing at the edge of a cliff, and they're like having the social media moment, but they're not really in the moment, living in the space of gratitude. And that's not law of attraction. That's not what's bringing that magnetism to you. That's not what creates that circle of 200 women that you've cultivated, where they're all amazing. And I've been to your events, and I'm really proud of what I've been able to do with our community, with eWomen Network, because we've been doing the same. And people walk into the room and they're going, this feels different. This is amazing. I love it. And I love that you pointed that out, because I think that that's so important. And I'm guessing you start your day every morning with gratitude and either journaling or in prayer or in meditation.
Kind of all of those. Yeah, I'm not a good meditator, I'm better at praying, so that's kind of more of my meditation. And I can't walk alone on this journey, so God walks along the journey with me.
Amen.
And I didn't think I was supposed to bring God into my business to walk along the journey, so I always thought I had to build that on my own with my smarts and with leaning on other people. And then when I figured out, like, maybe I need to make God part of my future plans for business as well, boy, did it become a lot easier. And just having that faith and prayer and guidance and using my intuition a lot more. And that's what women have that's different than men. You know, men have been building since the beginning of time. We're kind of new to it, really.
We are.
And so I think it's newer, it's scarier. We feel like we have to prove something, but we don't. We don't need to prove anything. We just need to get out there and be ourselves. I always say, you know, the easiest thing to wear is just you and your personality, and not walk around trying to...
That could be a hashtag. The easiest thing to wear is just you.
Yeah, I mean, like in my signature, it used to say, be you, everyone's taken. So, like, you don't have any other choice anyway, right? Like, if you're trying to be someone else, they're already taken, right? So just be you. And that's the name of my LLC of my business, is just be you and be strong. And I always say, just stay on the path and be the best that you can be. But you've got to be you. You're enough. You're worthy. Just be you. And then here's the other thing. If someone doesn't like that, that's okay.
Right.
That's okay. They're not your person. Someone walks into eWomen, that might be their tribe. Maybe they walk into the Empower and Elevate conference, that might be their tribe. Everyone needs to find a tribe. Just like everyone finds a faith or a religion or a community or a hobby. You talked about loving golf, loving tennis. The two things I do not play, that I loathe because they're the worst. I'm the worst at tennis. I'm the worst at golf. Those just, I love
I'm not
pickleball.
great at golf. It's just something I like to go out and do.
There's so many other things that I would rather do than those. You know, a lot of women are like, how can you, like, be consistent on working out? Like, go to the gym or whatever. It's like, that's just what I like. It's
so
what
is
I
that
love,
what your hobby
right?
is? If you're not in the office, if you're not with
I work out every morning. It's just part of, like, a routine that I do. But, you know, I was in Taekwondo for a long time.
That's right. Aren't you a black belt?
I'm a first-degree black belt.
Right.
That was something fun I did. I literally did it to push my mind past boundaries to see what was possible.
And you won.
Because it's a lot of mind over matter.
A number of tournaments.
Yeah, I did. A lot of tournaments. And I pushed myself out of my comfort zone in my 40s. This was not when I was 10, 12, or 13. This was in my 40s. I pushed myself way out of my comfort zone to see if I could. This wasn't running a marathon. That's kind of an individual thing. Or, you know, going to boot camp or CrossFit or pushing yourself through a workout. This was very different, you know, to achieve something of that level. And those tournaments. So I do things like that every once in a while, just to kind of push myself out of my comfort zone to see.
I love that. The
what
the stretch is.
If you're not growing, you're dying. Yeah. So you've got to be learning something new.
Motion
even if
is lotion.
Yeah.
Right? They
Anything.
say that too.
Yeah. Like, I want to start gardening. Then start gardening and learn how to garden. Whatever it is, just get your mind going.
Don't think you have to.
We're not
go get all
tomorrow.
the right tools and things. Just go get your hand in the dirt and start.
Yeah. I live every day, like, if God was like, hey, tomorrow's the day, it's like, I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. You know, because I think we need to live every day like, I've done what I've been here to do. I'm joyful. I give people love. I think about them. I call them. I text them. I don't wait and like, I'm so sorry. I should have reached out to you a week ago. It's like, well, if you got the prompting, just reach out to them. You just never know what's going on in their life.
Well, I love this book that you brought today because I love books, and you talked about leadership, and one of them that I read was the Stedman Graham Identity Leadership. I read that 2 years ago. It was so good.
Yeah.
I love the Melinda Gates. Oh my gosh. Are you reading one right now?
Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
No, I'm not. I literally am reading my scriptures right now. That's kind of the prompting I got. And so that's what I've been reading.
Well, I love this book, this collaboration book, and I know that you said you had another one to bring, but I love this quote in the very beginning because I thought this was perfect. And then our only limitations are those we set up in our own minds. And Napoleon Hill said that. And I can't think of a better way to end our podcast, our interview today, and our conversation. And I think we'll have more in the future. But this whole conversation has been about the limitations that we set up for ourselves and how we move past that and we do that. And I think that you've all been given some incredible, valuable, amazing tips here. And next week, you will also hear from Paula Onisco, who came from Calgary. She is talking about money and magic and wealth and finance. And that conversation will be so perfect.
All the things that make it rain.
Right? All the things that make it rain after we do all the things we talked about implementing today. And all of my guests receive this Hello Sunshine box. So thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Sweetheart. Thank you.
And sharing all the love and the joy and the gratitude and your kindness with the world, honestly.
You're doing that on your podcast. So thank you.
So stay tuned for next week where we will hear from Paula Onisco, and bye for now.
Let's redo the end. It's not Paula Onisco. She was the previous week, wasn't she?
No, Dory was the previous week, but we can redo the end.
No. Then if that was
because I didn't like it. So if we have, if we can redo the end, I want to redo the end.
I think I literally ended all my podcasts with that one.
Okay,
you did great.
Okay. Yeah, go for it. Just look at the camera and deliver your ending.
Okay. So if you liked what you heard today, please share it with other women entrepreneurs and subscribe to the channel, because without you, the message and the impact does not serve the global impact and movement that I know we are making here on the Be Visible with Veronica podcast. And stay tuned for next week. Paula Onisco will be sharing her money magic, her mindset, and her wealth strategies, which is perfect segue from our talk today with Colleen Biggs. Thanks for tuning in to Be Visible with Veronica. If today's episode sparked something in you, share it, tag me, and pass it on. Your presence has power, and the world is better when you let it be seen. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and keep showing up as the unstoppable force you were born to be. I'll see you next time.